Hey, good morning, afternoon, everybody. A little late this morning, but X had to do a little freeze on me, I guess. Tried to follow back everybody that the that was put out for me yesterday, and then Cowboy put out for me yesterday. So and Baird. So appreciate the shout outs, and I will certainly get back to everybody on the follow backs. But currently, X is limiting my interaction. Every time I try to like something, it says that basically it seems automated, so I'm a bot. So here I am live on video one more time, as usual. Not a bot, not AI, don't know what to tell you. I even mispronounce things. Yeah, I mean, come on, I don't even know what to say. So, but anyways, for anybody at X that's watching, hey, great, I'm not a bot. Maybe you can just stop limiting me from following back on people and liking comments. I mean, I don't really get it, but whatever. But hey, more important things, not me so much, but certainly if you're not paying attention to the news, a couple of huge things that are just not being talked about. That is number one. I said 2 years ago that World War III has started, and they never put a beginning date or an ending date on a world war until after the end of it. I don't want to see the end of any of this. I don't think any of you guys do. But if people aren't paying attention, that NATO itself is engaging with Russia directly at this point, or allowing Ukraine to do it, and then now moving forces in place. Now, this is just pure insanity. I grew up during the Cold War. Everybody should know, and if you're young and you understand how this works, there's enough nuclear weapons in the world to destroy the entire world. So the idea was that both sides had enough nuclear weapons that it was ensured loss for everybody. And then, this way, nobody would ever attempt to fire one off, because mutually assured destruction is a real thing. So if you're young and you think that these Democrats and the Republicans and the neocons that are all sitting in office cheering this on, so there are both sides doing this, um, they're fucking crazy. And if you're young and you don't understand how the Cold War worked, and you don't understand what is at stake when you're looking at two countries that possess well north of over 10,000 atomic bombs, and now you throw in China, and then you throw in India, and then you throw in Pakistan. I mean, they're all nuclear power countries at this point. I mean, don't forget, you got all of Europe. So you got the UK, you got France, I mean, they're all sitting there with nuke bombs. If you don't think Israel has nuke bomb, we gave it to them. They have it. So, we have NATO bases right there in Turkey, because Turkey is part of NATO. They also have nuclear bombs. So to think that there would not be any part of this world that wouldn't that would survive, not going to happen. So I don't know. I plead with people. Call up all your politicians. Speak up on the internet. Speak up in groups. You guys want to go protest something? How about, if you're young and you're that dumb and you have all this time on your hands, go protest World War III. All right. Right now, it's a war that is being fought between Ukraine and Russia. Russia did not want the war. The Minsk Accords were in place to prevent this war. The United States and NATO together said no to the Minsk Accords and forced Ukraine into a war. Now, Ukraine didn't have a military. So it's very interesting that people don't understand that the Nazi party that existed within Ukraine decided to say, hey, by the way, Zelensky will be your military. And that's who's fighting. So the Ukrainians and Russians, they don't get along. They never have. It's kind of like in the Middle East. You got countries that haven't got along in thousands of years. Well, Ukrainians and Russians don't get along. And if you think the Ukrainians and Russians are bad, throw in a Nazi mix. Putin has been around long enough to remember, and he's a leader of the country, but long enough to remember World War II and the outcome of that, and the 25 million Russians that were killed by the Nazis. Do you think he's going to stand by and tolerate any of this bullshit? I mean, these young kids need to be taught by their parents, their grandparents. I mean, I certainly was educated by my parents, by my grandparents in school. We learned how history actually happened. Today's day and age, these young kids don't have any idea what the hell they're even talking about. You want to go protest and you want to protect the Palestinian people. They won't exist. Neither will Israel. Neither will the world if this starts up. And this is already being pushed by the neocons. To what outcome is unbelievable. Like somebody's going to get dumb enough to push the button. And if that doesn't scare the living shit out of you, then you really are stupid. I'm sorry, but you really are. Your kids are fucking that stupid. You would be that fucking stupid if you ever voted for this shit. If anybody thinks the United States is going to defeat Russia in a nuclear war, fucking stupid. There is no way to win a nuclear war. End of story. Now, we have a bomb called the Moab. That was utilized by President Donald Trump. It ended ISIS. People don't want to talk about that, but it's the largest bomb we have that is non-nuclear, and it was only used once, and it was used one time, and it defeated ISIS. End of story. Now, do your research. You'll figure it out if you want. It's real. I'm not giving you some non-fact. But nuclear war is just not an option. For fuck's sake. I mean, I don't know what people are thinking. Like if they think, I just reposted a video of what happens when a soldier comes home in a casket. If that is what you want by the tens of thousands, I guess keep voting for the neocons. I've tried to say to people before, elections do have consequences, but it's not just the commander in chief. It's all the neocons that are in Congress. Every single one of them on both sides of the aisle should be voted the fuck out, including somebody like Graham. Senator Graham is horrible. And so many of the other senators that want to back this up where they think NATO is a good thing. They think continuing sending money and weapons over there that's our tax dollars being paid to buy weapons that, just so you guys understand, a lot of these weapons wouldn't even be delivered for up to 3 to 5 years. So what is the plan here? Is it really peace? Because if it's peace, why are we sending aid packages to the military complex to produce weapons that won't even be delivered for the next 3 to 5 years? Now, if anybody wants to explain to me how that makes sense and thinks that peace is on the table right now, it's not. If you don't think that Russia and China know that this is a fact, you're fucking kidding yourselves. Oh, man, when are people going to wake up? But I guess the other piece of this is our second big, huge problem that nobody is even talking about is the number of bank failures. I mean, the FDIC in their meetings have already said that they realize that there is over $17 trillion sitting in bank accounts. They don't have enough money to cover $17 trillion. They don't have enough to cover but $1 trillion, less than $1 trillion. So what's going to happen to all your money with all these bank failures? What's going to happen to your fiat currency when you can't pay the bills? You say, oh, everything's fine. Bidenomics is awesome. Keep printing cash. What happens when the bank failures happen? And you think the FDIC is going to insure your deposits, and they can't do it. This would wipe out all your boomers. This would literally wipe everybody out because there wouldn't be any money. That'd be it. We'd be another. We already have proven through our justice system that we're a banana republic. Can you imagine what happens when bank failures occur, and to the nth degree, where you're talking about, I mean, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in failures that the banks haven't reported to me, to you, to the public, but it's out there. And then you look at the government where it cannot pay its own bills. And the Fed, which takes our own tax receipts, that's all it is a bank account owned by private investors, and then they lend it back to us. And we pay interest. And if you're another country, who's going to buy our stuff? I mean, Turkey just announced they want to join BRICS. They're a NATO country. What about the other NATO countries that want to join BRICS? How does that work? You're supposed to stand with NATO, but you're going to go join the Russians, the Chinese, the Israelis, right? A whole new concept of cash flow. What do you think? What do you guys think is coming? Financial crisis? Absolutely on the horizon. World War III? We're already in it. But how does it end? It could end in a much different way if they just stop pushing buttons. So I plead with all of you, pay attention close, not trying to scare anybody. I'm just saying that I already stated this a couple years ago. This war between Ukraine and Russia should have never started. The war that is going on right now, I don't even know if it's a war. I guess it's a war. It's more a defense from Israel into Hamas territory. Well, guess what? They were given that 20 years ago. And what did they do with it? They pissed their chance for peace away. They decided that terrorism was the way to go. They decided that, going on and trying to take on Israel was the way to go. So all the hundreds of millions of dollars that we continue to give, including the $9 billion that the Biden administration just signed over to Hamas, just think about this bullshit. We just gave a terrorist organization money. They also gave another terrorist country, Iran, a bunch of money. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. And what are they doing with it? Because these people are dying of starvation. They don't have roads. They don't have infrastructure. They don't have anything. So what did they do with all the money? War. That's what they choose. They choose to have war. Pure insanity. Anyways, a little riled up this morning, a little frustrated with X this morning. I'm going to give this a post. Hopefully it gets out there. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm certainly not looking at warmongering, but for the love of God, pay attention, people. And, you know, they're distracting us all this bullshit. Is Hunter going to go to jail? Nah. Trump going to end up in jail? Doubt it. I'm curious to see what they're going to do to him. But at the same time, he's still going to be our president. I don't care how it looks to anybody else. They can scream, cry, do whatever. And of course, you know, now they're going to sit there and say that any one of us that support Trump is a domestic terrorist, or anybody that's a Christian is a domestic terrorist. How does that work? How does that even work? We're supposed to have religious freedoms in our country, right? That was kind of like why the people came here and founded in the colonies, religious freedom. Then a war was fought for taxation without representation. We fought for our own freedoms that we are giving up on a daily basis, whether it be financial, religious, or any other thing that you want to think of that is a freedom. How about freedom of speech? Will this get out? Will this be throttled? Will people be able to think about it? Will people be able to react to it? Will people think about it? I don't know. It didn't come from the mainstream media. I get it. I am not the mainstream media. And maybe that's where you want to get your news. And again, maybe you want to live in your little bubble and think this will never happen. Well, God forbid anything that I just talked about is actually happening. So something for you guys to think about today. God bless. Hope you all have a great day. Good afternoon. And like I say, a lot of times, you know what I'm going to do today? I can't change this by myself. I put my message out. I speak to it. Maybe you guys will as well. In the meantime, I'm going to go sit at the pool, I think, a little bit. Work on the tan, you know? What else can I do? All right. Loved all. God bless.